So, somebody in the audience puts their hand up, they give you their question. The first thing you should do is to acknowledge their question. That's a valid point. Yes, I see what you mean. What you're doing here, you're not agreeing, you're acknowledging the question, and you're actually buying yourself a couple of seconds of important thinking time before you reply. So always remember to acknowledge their question. Occasionally, you'll get people who like the sound of their own voice, and they ask a very long question, and sometimes you get lost. So don't be afraid to ask, "Excuse me, could you repeat that? I'm not sure I understand where you're going with this," or very simply, "What exactly is the question?" Disagreeing can be a problem because, again, we're trying not to have a conflict with somebody, and it's very frustrating if you're in the audience when the presenter starts having a dialogue with somebody. They ask a question, he answers, they don't like the answer, he answers again, and everybody forgets there's another 100 people in the hall. Try not to get into a conflict like that. If you don't agree with somebody, you can tell them, "Well, yes, but on the other hand, the data I have shows something different." Don't get involved in a conflict. Occasionally, people will ask you questions which are not directly connected to the material you've covered. Again, ask them, "Are you sure this is relevant?" You're also not expected to be an encyclopedia. So if they ask you a question and you don't have the answer, that is okay too. What you can do is ask them to speak to you after the presentation, or even better, to mail you their question the next day. Usually what happens is, as soon as the presentation is over, people just go home and forget about it. So in a way, you're handling a question that you know you will never receive. And once you've answered the question, ask the person who asked it, "Does that clear that up for you? Have I answered your question?" And then that closes the circle. Right, let's move on.